Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the White Belt MMA podcast, and it's an absolute pleasure to have on the show again a good friend of the show, UFC Bantamweight Vince Morales, who's set to face Johnathan Martinez next Saturday. Actually, this Saturday, because we're recording this on a Sunday. So, Vince, how you been, my man?
Doing good, man. I appreciate you having me again. Doing real good. Just gearing up for the last little bit of fight week stuff. So,
yeah, man. Yeah, definitely, dude. And I just saw that you were just cornering Davey Grant yesterday, man. And man, what a performance, man. So I know you said in our previous interviews, and I've heard you say in other interviews that Davey Grant was around. You guys were getting some rounds in and everything like that. But man, that performance he had yesterday, man, how did it feel? Being in his corner and just pretty much seeing all the hard work that he's been putting in the gym, come to fruition.
It was refreshing to see that, really, just because there are so many times where we put everything into this, and sometimes we don't always get the outcome. And I actually learned a lot from Davey while he was here for his entire camp. He's kind of a little inspiration in terms of his mindset and approach to what he's doing in there. It was great to see him walk away with a win. It was a hard fought battle. Second round had me a little bit nervous, and he came out in the third round just fresh as ever. And man, Davey's no joke. That dude's seriously got some skills. I couldn't be happier for the guy. And I think it was good to I'm glad he had me in the corner. It's kind of good to get in the cage the week before my own fight and stuff. So it was overall, it was a great night.
100%. I mean, and I do have to ask this, especially since you got some sparring rounds with Davey, man. How hard does that man hit? Because you can hear the thudding, power he has right through the TV. So I can only imagine actually feeling that power.
He might be one of the hardest punchers I think I've ever worked with. Everything he throws is just so hard, and I know he's not even trying to in sparring, which is crazy. And it's still it's like he's got rocks at the end of just a whole thing of rocks, and they just clang on you. It's crazy. It's he's one of those guys that's you got to be born with it. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, 100%, man. And it sucks to see it, man. It's just you'd never want to see a fighter get knocked out like that. But man, just the way that that Davey put out Louis Smolka, and it just looked vicious. So after the win though, did you guys what do you guys do for celebration? Was it just kind of one of those hey guys, good win, we'll go back to the casa and relax, or you guys had some comida, some carne asada, some a little bit something out there?
yeah. We went and got some wings. I didn't eat too much because I got my own fight coming up and stuff, but it was good to get out of the fight stuff, because everything else around fight week is all involved around the hotel and it's all fight stuff. So it was good to refresh and be cool, great performance. That was solid. He had to get on a plane bright and early this morning, so we weren't out too late. And I think I ate something funny the night before because my stomach was all weird, so I had to come home and just get some rest.
Yeah, 100%, man. Obviously, you don't want another situation like UFC London, man. And again,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we don't have to, stick on the topic for too long, but I do have to ask, man, get the UFC London, obviously you get sick in the process, you get hit with the flu. Just, talk about the process, obviously get into London, and then, finding out that, you're getting the flu and you unfortunately had to pull out of that, obviously that big London card, back in March.
I was extremely frustrating. I don't know what it was. Right when I got there, I just got off the plane, and I just figured England was very cold. I felt cold in my bones. I was wearing a big winter jacket that people wear to hike up Mount Everest. I was wearing something like that. I was and still freezing, and I was whatever. I kind of put on a poker face when I did all my check-in stuff, and then got back to the hotel room, and I was still freezing. So I hopped in a hot shower. That wasn't working. I took a hot bath. That wasn't working. And then I got out, and I was something's seriously wrong. All of a sudden I felt worse. And then I was scheduled for physical therapy with Heather from the PI, and went and saw her. And right away she could see that I wasn't feeling too hot. So she took my temperature, and I had a fever of 101. And they were I got to tell the doctor because that's the protocol, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. But just so you know, if we're going to give it another day, but if your temperature is still like this in the morning, then we can't allow you to weight cut. It's just part of it. Mm-hmm. And I was no, I think it'll be all right. I was trying to talk her out of it, no, I'll be okay. And I was trying to find workarounds, and then, went back to the hotel room, went to sleep, and I woke up just with my sheets soaked. and I'd been sweating all night, and I was, man, I tested positive for COVID in the past. Tested negative 3 times for the flu or whatever I had over there, and I've never felt that bad. I was trashed, and it was insane, really. And then man, and yeah, sure enough, the doctors called me. They're like, "Hey, we can't allow you to continue here. We can't even get you cleared to fly home." So I had to literally just sit around, wait in the hotel room for like 6 days, and just try to not lose my mind. So I just sat around all depressed watching old cartoons.
Oh man, that sucks. I mean, I know you said you're watching cartoons, but at least any good movies though? Any movies to cheer you up, or you're like at that point you were just in the dumps that you're like nothing was gonna get you out of there.
Bro, there was very little that could get me out of the slump, just because and I was feeling crappy too. But so I went there with a mission, and the whole thing was a big fight, big win, and then on the eve of that, on the night after that, rather, I was gonna propose to Shino, and I couldn't do 2 of those, and kind of had some teammates talk me into like still going through with it, at least putting a cap on what was overall kind of a shitty trip. Turned it around. We went to a nice dinner as I started feeling better. I got cleared to fly back home fight night. So I was like, well, I might as well just stay the day. So stayed the day, went and walked around London a little bit, and then went to a nice dinner, did all that, and came back engaged. So it was a nice way to cap off what was otherwise kind of a shit trip.
Yeah. Hey, like you said though, man, at least you got the engagement, right? 1 out of 2, 1 out of 2. And how was that? I mean, it must have been obviously a special moment too. So like you said,
it was great, man. It meant a lot to me to be able to do it over in England, because Chino she lived there for a little bit. She had grown up there. She went to school there, and that's where her brothers and stuff learned English and everything. So it was cool to be able to go there and do that for her, especially like she's always in my corner and everything. And yeah, I just thought it was real cool until homeboy started popping off on Twitter thinking he's Mr. Tough Guy.
Oh man, that sucks. I mean, and like, how did it feel for you? Obviously, like, just kind of getting blindsided from that too. Cause like, I saw you on Twitter kind of saying that like, hey man, this kind of wasn't the same energy you were carrying, on the DM. So like, was it just kind of a bummer? You're like, oh man, we don't have to do this.
Exactly. And and then I'm like, okay, like at first, the first couple things he said, I let slide. And then he got personal and dragged that into the whole thing. I'm like, oh, you little weasel. Like, because we'd exchanged some DMs. I apologize. I was like, there's nothing I can do. Literally, doctors are going to pull me. And then he goes and tries to insinuate otherwise, and that it was some sort of shady action and all this stuff. And that's completely out of character for me and anything in my realm. So I don't know, for him to be like that and then immediately backpedal and say he's just trying to get it rebooked, and then immediately leave the division. I'm like, what are you? I don't know. When he gets the rude reminder that he's too small to be a featherweight, because he's about my size and I'm almost too small to be a damn bantamweight. So like when he gets the reminder that he's too small to be a featherweight, I'll play Grim Reaper and welcome him back to the gates of bantamweight division. So be ready for that.
Yeah, man. And man, just to bring it obviously to the to the present, right, to the future. We got another banger fight this Saturday against Johnathan Martinez. So
yeah, I'm stoked for this fight. I think we match up real well. I think in my mind, just because if you watch his fights, I'm always tweeting during his fights. I'm always giving him props and stuff. So like I think he comes to fight. He's exciting. He's solid kind of everywhere. Those are the fights I like. It's a little dangerous kind of everywhere. Like I think we match up in a way that's like a fight of the night kind of excitement for me. So I just can't wait to get in there and see what he's got and really put on a show. I've been prepping. I've basically been in camp for like 3 months already. So yeah, I'm good to go.
100%. And did you get this fight from the UFC like legitimately like right after you came back and got right back into training?
So I got back. I took a few days off because I was still feeling a little shitty. And then I started bugging my manager about getting rebooked. And then I want to say maybe a month later. So we got notice for this fight for like 4.5 weeks or so, which is about perfect for me because I have been training, right? Yeah. And then they're like, well, homeboy left division. So we got Jonathan Martinez, I think it's a great fight. Let's do it. I'm like, let's go, dude. Like, sign me up. It's here in Vegas. I don't have to leave and go anywhere. It's a little bit of a, I don't want to say home field advantage, but in a sense, I guess, because I'm here.
Yeah. No, yeah, 100%, man. 100%. So yeah, man, like, definitely looking forward to it. So like, how do you, like you said, you kind of, went through, talked about it there. It's like, a real dangerous fight, what I mean? Like you guys are probably going to come down to the middle of that. So that is that how you kind of see the fight kind of going, that, it's going to be nonstop action all 3 rounds, if it goes to the 3 rounds?
Yeah. I think it's going to be one of those battles of toughness, really, because he doesn't like to take too many steps backwards before firing something. Neither do I. I like to push the action. So I think we're gonna meet. Every time we're gonna meet, it's gonna be like Beyblade. You ever see Beyblade? They spin around, boom. Yeah. I think it's good. It's gonna
That
be
was
a lot
blast
of that.
from the, that was like a blast from the past, man. I haven't heard that like the longest time.
It's funny. That's probably only in my mind because that's how we were describing some of Davey Grant stuff during training camp, because he's just like that. He's moving, then throw some crazy shit once he gets in there. But yeah, I kind of see that fight going this way. And if I had to pick a way that it was going to go, I heard him on the feet. He tries to drag it to the ground. I'd sub him.
Yeah, 100%, man. I'm hyped, man. I can't wait to watch this, this fight on Saturday. Obviously, rooting for you, man. So it's always gonna be awesome. Yeah, but I do have to ask this, right? I mean, obviously, kind of talk to you off camera. I was gonna tell you, I was gonna ask you about this. Some of your tweets, man, that have me dying, and especially, obviously coming from an Hispanic household and seeing that like, the tweet that you said about your dad, something about calling you unemployed after you told him that you're like, hey man, I just had like 6 hours of training. So is that like a daily occurrence for you, man? When it comes
daily, bro, every time I talk to my dad, he's always saying, "Oh, how's your hobby going?" or stuff like that. Like, it's hilarious. Once COVID started, I was kind of in a real tight spot, and I went back to Idaho for a little bit, and I did landscaping to get by. Mm-hmm. And my dad has never been more proud of me. He loved it. I'm like, what do you mean? Like I go over here to fight. I fight some of the best fighters in the world on TV for the whole world to see, and you're proud of me because I go landscape. Oh, it was ridiculous, but yeah, it's nonstop. Literally every time I talk to him, so it's whatever. And once I make $1 million, buy him a new house, I'll be like, okay, dude, all right.
There you go. I mean, and I kind of have to ask this too, because especially my dad, right? I mean, I like doing a lot of jiu-jitsu competitions, so like he always likes to be the armchair coach, even though he's never done jiu-jitsu in his life, tries to give me advice. So is he kind of the same way with you when it comes to fighting? Like he gives you those comments, and then he watches your fight, and he's like, man, I think you could have done this, could have done that.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. But on my dad's end, he's been watching boxing since before I even enjoyed boxing. So he's got an eye for the fights. So he understands real good what he's looking at, and he's usually got some decent little points. But I discredit him because he thinks it's a hobby. So
well, there you go, man. Obviously, your dad has a little knowledge. As for me, man, I just took an L today at a jiu-jitsu competition, and my dad just giving me like, hey man, you should have done that, you should have done this, and I'm like, hey man, can you give me some seconds? You know what I mean? Like my arm just almost got like dislocated from the side.
I think that's something we get when people don't compete themselves, right? Because a lot of us, like fellow competitors, were like, oh man, better luck next time. We can talk about it later, but go through what you need to go through. Versus like the randoms who are like, well, figure it out. I'm like, oh, okay, bro, thank you.
Yeah, 100%. But like you said, it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, brother. So, again, man, I know it's fight week, man. I don't want to get too much of your time. I want you to, relax, do your thing. So obviously, thanks like always for the time. So before we go though, do you want to plug in your social medias, and then also sneak in? Are we gonna get some embeddeds for this week too, or no?
Yeah. I was gonna say that's literally the plan this week. I'll throw those up on Instagram and TikTok and stuff. But yeah, that'll be, and Twitter for that matter. You can find that all. It's at Vendetta 135. Instagram is usually the best to get a hold of me. I'm a little spotty for the others, but yeah, Vembeds, all the fight week stuff, anything throughout there is going to be all posted. So actually, first thing in the morning, I'm starting some stuff. So hopefully by the end of the night, maybe I'll throw something up. Like I said, everything's here in Vegas this time, so I don't have to worry about like the travel and all that. I can kind of get right to work.
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. So Vince, again, thanks for the time, man. You're the man for making, a bit of time, on fight weeks for me, like always. So you're the man. And yeah, to everyone watching, go support Vince, and peace.